Good evening. Welcome back to the module Communication Theory, Learning Outcome 5, topic 14. So, in this topic, we are going to study about coherent binary detection. So, this topic is come under third unit of Communication Theory, coherent binary detection. So, coherent binary detection means that if the system employs the information about the carrier frequency or the carrier phase at the receiver to detect the message bit from the received signals. So let us consider the optimum binary detection. So in this case, we can take the band pass modulated signal in quadrature carrier form. So which is mathematically denoted by Xc of t. It consists of in phase and quadrature term. Okay, so here the cos omega ct plus theta and the sin omega ct plus theta is the carrier term. And in this, the square bracket term indicate the message term of the modulated signal. And here the P of t is the rectangular pulse and Ik is the respective amplitude levels of the rectangular pulses. And assume that the initial phase theta equal to 0. In that case, we can relate the carrier frequency with the bit duration Tb. So Fc equal to 1 by Tb into Nc, where Nc is some integer. And you can see here the summation time is common for both in phase and quadrature time. We can take outside. So we can rewrite the carrier modulated signal Xc of t as AC of AC into summation of in phase and quadrature term. And for a single bit interval, the carrier modulated signal Xc of t is related with the signaling waveform Sm of t. Okay, so where Sm of t is the asymptotically equal to AC. AC is the carrier amplitude into the in phase term and the quadrature term. So where subscript m equal to 1 indicate the signaling waveform for binary 1, and m equal to 0 means signaling waveform for binary 0. And this block diagram represent the band pass binary receiver. Okay, and it consists of one band pass filter and one sample and hold circuit and one detector. So here in sample and hold circuit, we are connecting with synchronization. So synchronization is performed in the sample and hold circuit. So here we are giving the carrier frequency or carrier phase for synchronization operation. Okay, now you can see here the input signal is input received signal is XCFT added with the noise with the power spectrum N0 by 2, and it passes through the bandpass filter whose impulse response is H of t. Then output of the bandpass filter is Y of t. So the received signal Y of t pass through the SH circuit. Okay, then it will generate the sampled values of the received signal. So that is denoted by Y of tk, where tk is the sampling time of the received signal. It is given to the detector of the receiver. So the detector, we are using the optimum threshold V. Okay. So then the based on the threshold condition, the detector will estimate the message bit M cap. So let us take the H1 and H0 as a hypothesis for message bit 1 and the message bit 0. Then the receiver decides between H1 and H0 according to the observed values of the random variables. So the received signal Y is the random variable. It will be equal to Zm plus N, where Zm is the signal term, N is the noise term, and the Zm, okay, where M is the denote the binary bit 1 and the binary bit 0. Is the convolution of the signal and the channel coefficient H of t. Since it is in continuous form, we have to integrate to get the sampled values output Zm. And in that, the small n is the noise sample. It follows the Gaussian random variable with the mean 0 and the variance sigma squared. Okay, so that Zm, okay, conditioned on H1 and H0 is a hypothesis for the message bit 1 and the message bit 0. So we can find out the conditional PDF for the signal term Z term. It has the shape of Gaussian curves, and it is centered at Z1 and Z0. We can see here the waveform shows the Gaussian curve for the conditional PDF of received signal Y with respect to H0 and H1. And the intersection of these two Gaussian curves give the optimum threshold that is denoted by V optim. Here the x-axis is the received signal. Okay. And PE0 means the probability of error when bit 0 was transmitted, and PE1 means the probability of error when bit 1 was transmitted. And now assume that the bit 0 was transmitted from the transmitter. Okay, then if the received signal is greater than V opt, means that optimum threshold, then it becomes the error. The received signal gives the error the output. Okay. So that is denoted by this shadow portion. That is denoted by shadow portion in this curve. Okay, when bit 0 was transmitted from the transmitter, and then it should be less than V optimum. If it is greater than V optimum, then it becomes error. Similarly, let us assume that the bit 1 was transmitted from the transmitter, then the received signal is less than V optimum. So in this case also it becomes error. The received signal becomes the error signal. That is denoted by this shadow portion, right? In the PE1 shadow portion, because the received the transmit bit is 1 means it should be greater than the received signal amplitude should be greater than V optimum. So then only we are receiving the correct signal at the receiver. Okay. So in this way, the detector take the decision by using this the optimum threshold V opt. Since the binary 0 and the binary 1 are equally likely to follow the symmetric of PDF, so the probability of error for binary 1 and binary 0 are equal. So therefore, the probability of error equal to Q of modulus of the difference between Z1 minus Z0 divided by 2 sigma, where Q is the Q function. And we have to expand this term Z1 minus Z0 whole squared. Okay, we know that Z1 is the convolution of signal and channel coefficient. Similarly for Z0. And here we can see that the channel coefficient is common for both the term. Take outside, and only then the Z1 minus Z0 whole squared is the difference between S1 of lambda minus S0 of lambda. Okay. And this signal term is Sm of t is 0 outside this interval, bit interval. Then the variance of the received signal is sigma squared, which is equal to the n naught by 2 into the integration of the channel coefficient h. So in order to find out the signal to noise ratio, we have to apply the Squarch inequality. So that the ratio of modulus of h z1 by z0 square divided by 4 sigma square. We have to substitute z minus z0 term and sigma squared. Also we know that is a variance of the noise. And here you can see that channel coefficient h is common for both numerator and denominator. Same, we have to remove that term. So the remaining term is 1 by 1 by 2 n naught, because 2 will be cancelled. 1 by 2 n naught. So integration minus infinity to plus infinity. The difference between the two signaling waveform S1 of t and S0 of t. And the maximum, the maximum value of this ratio, signal to noise ratio, is achieved if we design the filter H by the difference between these two signal waveform, means S1 of t minus S0 of t. So the optimum channel coefficient H optimum of t is k of S1 of tb minus t minus S0 of tb minus t. So is the matched filter coefficient. It is designed by taking the difference between two signaling waveform to achieve the maximum ratio, where k is the arbitrary constant. So the observation is the filter for optimum binary detection should be matched to the difference between the two signaling waveforms. And there are another type of receiver we are using two parallel matched filters receiver. For each filter is designed by the respective signaling waveform for binary 0 S1 for binary 1 S0. So the filtering coefficient H1 of t and the H0 of t is designed using the signaling waveform S1 of t and S0 of t. Then arrange this matched filter in parallel and subtracting the output of the lower branch from the upper branch, we are getting the optimum response of this receiver. That means the two parallel matched filter receiver. And if any stored energy in this filter must be discharged to avoid the ISA problem in the subsequent bit interval. So this figure shows the optimum binary detection using two parallel matched filter. So the matched filters designed as H1 of t and H0 of t. Okay, and the input signal is the signaling waveform. And then the output is we can find out the difference between the two outputs. Then it is given to the sample and hold circuit where the synchronization is performed. Then we are getting the sampled values. So, so from this receiver, the upper branch sampled values, and we can find out the lower branch sampled values. So the upper branch we are considering the binary one. So Z M1 of Tk we are finding, we are calculating the sample value for the binary one. Okay, so it is nothing but the convolution of the signal term and the channel coefficient H1. And we know that for matched filter, the channel coefficient is equal to the signaling term S1 of t. Similarly, for the lower branch sampled values Zm naught of Tk for binary 0. Then another type of receiver is correlation detector. So in correlation detector, the received signal is matched with the noise-free copies of the signaling waveforms. Means correlated with the noise-free copies of the signaling waveform. Okay, so this figure shows the optimum binary detector using correlation detector. So here in correlation detector, the received signal is multiplied with the noise-free signaling terms. For binary 1, we are using S1. For binary 0, we are using S0. Then the correlated output is given into the integrators, respective integrators, and then the same procedure what we studied about the matched filter. We have to find out the difference by subtracting upper branch by lower branch. Then it will be given to the SH circuit. Then it will give the sampled values. Now consider the expansion of the signaling and the difference between the two signaling waveform S1 of t and S0 of t. It is like a minus b whole squared form. So we can expand. So a squared means S1 squared equal to E1, b squared E0 minus 2ab means a product of two signaling waveform give the energy E1 0. So the where E1 is the energy of the binary bit 1 and E0 is the energy of the binary bit 0 and E1 0 is the product of the binary bit 1 and 0 energy which is proportional to the correlation coefficient. We can use this E1 0 for measuring the correlation coefficient. So the correlation coefficient is denoted by rho which is equal to 1 by square root of E1 and E2 integration 0 to t tb the product of S1 of t and S0 of t dt. So since the binary number zeros and ones are equally likely, then we can measure the average bit energy. Average bit energy EB equal to the summation of E1 plus E2 by 2. So where E1 is the energy of the bit 1 and E0 is the energy of bit 0. We have to add and divided by 2, they will give the bit energy. So the probability of error okay, for the coherent binary detection is P equal to Q of square root of E1 minus E0 minus 2EB by 2 N naught. Because we already know the formula for probability of error. So the probability of error for binary detection. So Q of Z1 minus Z0 divided by 2 sigma, where Z1 minus Z0, okay, that is finally simplified like Z1 E1 plus E0 minus 2 E1 0. So here we are finally replacing Z1 minus Z0 by E1 plus E0 minus 2 E1 0 divided by 2 N0 for the noise variance. And here we can replace Z1 E1 plus E0 by 2 EB. So here 2 EB minus 2 E10 divided by 2 N0. So in numerator 2, denominator 2 will be cancelled. Finally, the probability of error for coherent binary detection is Q of square root of EB minus E10 by N0. Now here we can use the formula correlation coefficient. So which is rho equal to E10 by square root of E1 into E2. And at the equal energy, the EB equal to 1 by 2 of E1 plus E1. So 2 E1 by 2. So the bit energy equal to the EB equal to E1. So the rho equal to, now we can simplify the correlation coefficient, rho equal to E10 by E1 squared, square root of E1 squared. So E10 by E1. From that, E10 equal to rho E1, or it will be equal to rho EB. So here the E10 is replaced by rho into EB. So EB common take outside. So the finally we are getting the simplified expression for probability of error. PE equal to square root of Q of square root of EB into 1 minus rho by N naught. And similarly, we can find out the simplified expression for the optimum threshold V of. So for that, first we can find out the Z1 and Z0, right? So by substituting the H opt into the Zm of t, so here the Z1 we can find out. So Z1 equal to is the convolution of the signal term and the impulse response. So here the impulse response is of the matched filter is the difference between the two signaling waveform. So we get H is replaced by S1 S1 of t and S0 of t, and you have to multiply. So S1 squared. So E1 S1 S0 is product of 2-bit energy. So G1 0. So therefore E1 equal to K into E1 minus E0. Similarly, we can find out the energy for the for binary bit 0 Z0. So Z0 equal to only we can change this term here for binary bit 1 S1, here for binary bit 0 S0. Then we have to multiply with the filter coefficient. So S0 S1 E1 0 S0 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 square. So E0. So we are getting that what is the value for energy for G1 and the energy for means energy for Z1 and energy for Z0. Now we can take the optimum threshold equation V of top t equal to 1 by 2 Z1 plus Z0. Now substitute that expression for E1 and Z1 and Z0. So 1 by 2 of K of E1 minus E1 0 for Z1 for Z0 plus K of E1 0 minus E0. Now we can see here the minus E1 0 here plus E1 0. It will be cancelled. So finally the optimum threshold is 1 by 2 into K of E1 minus E0. Now you can observe in this optimum threshold, the product of bit energy is not coming, means that not involved in the optimum threshold. So that is the general way of finding the probability of error for coherent binary detection. Now we will take the one modulation techniques OOK, means on-off keying modulation techniques using coherent reduction. So the coherent signaling waveform for OVK modulation is denoted by S1 of t and S0 of t, which we can see here because it is on-off keying method. So whenever switch is on, there is a waveform is passing. The switch is off, there is no waveform. That's why the signaling waveform for off condition is zero. There is no signaling waveform. The only the signaling waveform available for the on condition. The switch is in on condition, which is denoted by AC PTB of t into cos omega ct, where AC is the carrier amplitude, PTB of t is the rectangular pulse, is a carrier. Carrier time is cos omega ct. And we can apply the carrier relation, carrier frequency and bit duration relation. So we can write this signaling waveform like S1 of t minus KTB equal to ACM cos omega ct. Okay, because from this rectangular pulse we are taking the bit duration TB, so that we are writing the signal waveform by time shifting. So this block diagram shows the coherent correlation receiver for the OVK modulated signal. Okay, here there are two synchronization operation performed. One for a local oscillator. So for local oscillator, the carrier is synchronized, and for integrator sample and hold circuit, bit is synchronized. So the bit information given to the integrator and the sample and hold circuit to initialize its operation, and for adjust the carrier frequency phase, we are carrier signal is given as an input to the carrier oscillator, local oscillator. Okay. So the local oscillator synchronized the carrier provide the stored copy of S1 of t. The bit synchronization signal activate the sample and hold unit and reset the integrator. And since S naught of t equal to 0, because in off condition there is no energy, so E naught equal to 0, E1 0 also 0. Only energy is available for binary bit 1. Okay, so we have to substitute that for the signal uniform for binary bit 1. So AC squared, and then we have to integrate over the interval 0 to TB cos squared omega ct into dt, and apply the formula for cos squared theta. It is 1 plus cos 2 theta by 2, and then you have to split the integral into 2 times. Then you have to integrate, and then finally we are getting the bit energy for binary bit 1 equal to AC squared TB by 2 for on-off key modulation. And for over modulation, the bit energy EB is half of the E1. Okay, so E1 by 2. So it will be equal to AC squared TB by 4. And the threshold for OK is K into E1 minus E0 by 2. Means the difference between the bit energy of binary bit 1 and the bit energy of binary bit 0 divided by 2. And the average error probability for OK modulation PE equal to Q of square root of EB by N naught, or Q of square root of gamma B, where gamma B is the signal to noise ratio. Then coming to the second type of modulation is PBSK modulation using coherent reduction. So in this case, for PBSK modulation, there are two phase shifts are we are using 0 and pi. When the binary bit is 0 means the phase shift is 0. When binary bit 1 is phase shift is 0. When binary bit is 0 means phase shift is pi. So the signaling waveforms, respective signaling waveform for PBSK modulation is S1 of t and the S0 of t. So here the S0 of t is the negative version of the S1 of t, because of only phase is changed, remaining amplitude and everything is common for S0 of t. So the S0 of t and minus S1 of t we can call this antipodal signaling. And in this case, the bit energy is EB is equal to E1 and equal to E0. So it will be equal to AC squared TB by 2. And the product of bit 1 bit 2 energy E1 0 equal to minus EB. So therefore E1 minus EB, we can represent E1 minus EB. Now we can substitute EB minus E1 0. So the E1 0 equal to minus EB. So minus minus plus, so it will be equal to 2 EB. So therefore probability of error for binary phase shift keying is q of square root of 2 EB by N naught, or it will be equal to q of square root of 2 comma p. And the PBSK modulation has several advantages compared to the other modulation like OOK modulation and FSK modulation because of these following reasons. Since S0 of t equal to minus S1 of t, the coherent PBSK receiver require only one matched filter. So we can use only one matched filter is sufficient. No need to matched filter for two signaling waveform. Only we can change the sign. And since the E1 equal to E0, the threshold value we can fix P equal to 0. So the PBSK threshold level need not be readjusted if the received signal undergoes fading. That is the second benefits of PBSK modulation. And the third one is the approximately constant envelope of, because in PBSK modulation, the amplitude is common, only phase is changing. So approximately constant envelope of PBSK makes it relatively invulnerable to the non-linear distortion. So because of that constant envelope for PBSK, it is invulnerable to the non-linear distortion. Okay, then the third type of coherent binary modulation technique is binary FSK. So in this case, in binary FSK means binary frequency shift keying, the signaling waveform is we are changing the frequency of the carrier by plus or minus FT. So the signaling waveform for binary 1 and binary 0 is S1 of t and S0 of t for FSK modulation. And here you can see only that carrier frequency shifted by plus ft and minus ft depend upon the type of bit, either binary bit 1 or binary bit 0. And the summation of the carrier frequency and the ft is very greater than rb, and bit energy for fsk is approximately equal to s squared dv by 2. Then energy of product of binary bits, that is E10 equal to EB sync of 4 FD by RB. And here the probability of error is same as OOK modulation. And in this FSK modulation, some improvement is possible when phase discontinuities are allowed in the modulated signal XC of t. And for any value of FD, the difference between EB minus E0 should satisfy the condition that is less than or equal to 1.22 EB. Hence, binary FSK does not provide any significant wideband noise reduction. Okay, then so far we studied about the coherent binary detection technique in the communication receiver. And in some cases, we are using the non-coherent type of detection. Okay, so that is another topic. So non-coherent binary detection. So the optimum coherent detection may not be essential if the signal is strong enough for adequate reliability with a less sophisticated receiver. And a prime example for this situation is digital transmission over voice telephone channels. And the coherent detection means it will be some application, it will be very difficult and expensive. Okay, and the if the propagation delay on some radio channel changes too rapidly to permit accurate tracking of the carrier phase at the receiver, and unsynchronized or non-coherent detection becomes the only solution for this kind of situation, because if the propagation delay okay more means then it is very difficult to track the carrier phase at the receiver. So in in such a situation, we go with the non-coherent binary reduction method. So it is the suboptimum reduction method. Non-coherent binary reduction is come under suboptimum. So here we can see the how to find out the envelope of the received signal sinusoid plus bandpass noise. So this is the mathematical equation for the sinusoidal signal, and this one is the mathematical equation for the Gaussian noise N of t, and sum of sinusoidal and the noise is AC cos omega ct plus theta plus N of t. So this is the received sinusoidal plus noise equation. And from this we can find out the what is the envelope and phase of the received signal. So the envelope is A, which is square root of in phase component and quadrature component. Yeah, means amplitude of the in phase component and amplitude of the quadrature component. Then phase is arc tan of quadrature component divided by in phase component. Okay. So now assume that at a carrier amplitude is 0, AC equal to 0, then the envelope A reduces to the noise envelope AN, and it follows the Rayleigh distribution. So this formula it shows this is the Rayleigh distribution PDF function for the envelope. And if you assume that AC means the carrier amplitude is very greater than the noise power sigma, in that case noise signal time is dominant. So A equal to approximately equal to AC plus Ni. So from the envelope of the received signal, we can find out the joint PDF of A and pi. And from the we can find out this. So this is the joint PDF of envelope and phase of the received signal. So from this joint PDF, we can find out the envelope PDF. Okay. So by integrating PDF of the phase function, we can find out the PDF of the envelope. Okay. So this is the PDF of the envelope. So it is calculated from it is obtained from the integration of the joint PDF. Okay, by integrating over a PDF of the phase. Now we can see here in this integration portion, we can apply the modified Bessel function of first kind and order 0. So this is the formula for the modified Bessel function. So it is 1 by 2 pi integration minus pi to plus pi exponential of v cos pi d pi. You can see here both are matching. So here the v will be equal to AC A by sigma square. And we can apply this condition for the modified Bessel function. I naught of v approximately equal to exponential of v square by 4 if v very less than 1. If v very greater than 1, it will be e power v by square root of 2 pi v. So we are going to use this condition. We are assuming v is very greater than 1. So the envelope PDF P of A equal to we are replacing that integration term by the modified Bessel function I naught of V, where V is AC A by sigma squared. And at a large signal condition means we are applying this one. So V very greater than 1, E per V by square root of 2 pi V. Right? We have to substitute E per V is V means AC A by sigma square. We are for convenience we are multiplying both numerator and denominator by 2. And divided by square root of 2 pi v. So ACA by sigma squared, because of it is coming out from the square root, it becomes sigma. So here now you can see here exponential, here also exponential. We can combine the exponential term, okay, we can add the exponential, okay, exponential term in power. So it will be like a plus b whole square formula. So we can write, we can simplify the envelope of the PDF. Uh, PA of A equal to square root of A by 2 pi AC sigma square exponential of minus A minus AC whole squared by 2 sigma squared. If you combine these two, it will be forming the formula A minus B whole squared formula. And in denominator 2 sigma squared, here also 2 sigma squared you can take. And here that 1 by root 2 pi ACA. Here also A is there. So A will be cancelled. So square root of A by 2 pi AC, and then sigma, here sigma, 1 sigma will be cancelled. And because of this goes into the square bracket, it becomes sigma squared. So this is the final expression for the envelope PDF of that received signal. So the waveform shows the envelope of the sinusoid plus bandpass noise. Means envelope of the received signal using that respective PDF function. Since the amplitude of the carrier is dominant tone, we are varying that amplitude of the carrier AC at AC equal to 0 and AC equal to 2 sigma, AC equal to 5 sigma. When increasing the amplitude of the carrier and that the distribution of the PDF function is decreases. Okay, thank you. So in this session, we studied about the coherent binary detection and non-coherent binary detection. In coherent binary detection, we are using at the receiver, we are using the information about the carrier phase and the carrier frequency for detection of the message bit. And there are three type of coherent binary detection. That is coherent OOK, coherent PBSK, and the coherent FSK. Then we studied about the non-coherent binary detection. In some situation, it is very difficult to track the carrier phase, especially when the propagation delay is more. So in that case, we can go with the non-coherent binary detection method. Okay, thank you.